right, so today we have got chapters 4, 5, and 6
Yep.
of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
All right, so chapters 4, 5, and 6. Starting with chapter 4, Flourish and Blots. Correct?
Yep.
Oh, I showed the wrong page. We're going to fix that.
There we go.
Aha! Flourish and Blots. you guys.
And what do you see there? There's a hand.
Wonder what that's got to do with Flourish and Blots.
Yeah.
Isn't Flourish and Blots a bookstore?
Yes, it is.
And do we know any other bookstores?
Maybe.
Horton's Gifts and Books. Books and
Yes.
Gifts. Books and Gifts.
Yes.
Which Miss Katie and Miss Margaret are joining me here from that particular bookstore because they're
That's right.
awesome and they love to support their local library.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you
wanna
can
be
kind of see
seen.
our owl.
He doesn't want to be
Kind
seen.
of. All right, so give us a comment if you can hear us because we want to make sure that everyone can hear us this time. All right,
Hopefully.
we have got chapter 4, Flourish and Blots. And what happens?
It starts with life at the Burrow.
Oh, life at the Burrow. Makes me so happy.
I know. When you
I
think.
want to live at the Burrow too.
Yes. When
Which
you-
was our question from last week,
Mm-hmm.
which was, how was life at the Burrow?
Amazing.
I mean, what fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
what fun.
of course, we ended last week. Harry had never been somewhere that liked him, or is that this week? Is that
yeah,
chapter 4?
no, that's how it was.
The
That
first paragraph in chapter 4.
Yep.
Yep. And imagine that, never having lived somewhere where the people that live with you like you, and then getting to
Exactly.
go to a place where everyone there seems to like you.
Yep.
It's kind of great.
I know.
I've always liked that small explosions are considered normal.
Only if they're from Fred and George's room. I think they would wonder if one was coming from Jenny's room,
True.
or definitely Percy's room.
Yeah, well, yes.
But they never see Percy. Percy's vanished off.
Yeah, but what if his room just exploded like Fred and George's?
They would probably assume Fred and George did something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, let's see. Mr. Weasley likes Harry to explain plugs, the postal service, and telephones.
Could you explain any of those things if you were asked?
So, if a
Not
wizard
easy.
walks up to you and asks you to explain how do telephones work, what would you say to them?
You pick it up and you dial the buttons.
And this was before cell phones were common, so
Right? So it's
Yeah.
not
the
like
brick cell phones.
it's not like explaining the touch screen. It's explaining
Yep.
the old phone on the wall in the kitchen.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But they have a radio, so I guess they could explain radio waves.
They could. They have the Wizard wireless,
Yeah,
so I
Yes.
they
guess
have a radio.
they have a way of kind of connecting it.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Still be weird.
Yeah.
Still be hard
Definitely.
to explain.
Definitely.
And
Anyway.
plugs. I don't think I could explain a plug.
It's electricity.
I would say
Don't play with
something
it.
that you put in to get the electricity from the whole grid to come to that plug
Yes.
Right.
and make your whatchamacallit work.
Right. Like your computer.
Yes.
But this is the British system, so you'd have to turn on the plug first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
their plugs turn off because they use 220.
Yep.
And we don't have to worry about that here because we're not super safety conscious on this end.
We also use 110 on most of our plugs.
Yes.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
every plug in Britain is a dryer plug.
What was the other thing? The mail?
The mail.
The mail,
How
yes.
does the mail work? Well, you don't tie a
To
piece
the-
of paper to an
to an
owl.
owl.
Just like
And
this.
have the owl flying off with your letter.
It's not quite like that. I think I would probably start at the Pony Express and work my way forward
Yep, there you go.
because wizards can understand ponies.
Yep.
You get into cars and then it's a little bit muddy.
Although, to be fair, I think some mail is still delivered by donkey.
I believe it.
Uh-huh.
I
I think
believe
somewhere around the Grand Canyon they still have donkey mail.
Oh, yes. No, they do. They do.
Let's see here. Go down for breakfast.
Oh, that
Letters from
breakfast.
school.
Woohoo.
Just think about Miss Weasley, Molly, making you breakfast.
Oh,
Best
I'd
breakfast in the
love
entire
it.
world.
I would love it.
And then letters from school. So what have we got in our letters?
Yes. Well, how did Dumbledore even know Harry was there?
Yeah, how did he know? Magic.
Yep,
Always.
he knows.
I think
But did he
Dumbledore
know,
is
or
here.
did the school know?
Or did McGonagall know? Because she sends the letters.
Because
I
the
don't
school
know.
knows if you're a wizard. The teachers don't have anything to do with that.
I think McGonagall knows because she keeps an eye on Harry.
Well, and I think Dumbledore keeps an eye on him too.
Absolutely.
Probably. So,
Okay, let's
Yep.
see here. Everyone got a letter. Fred and George are in their pajamas.
and they see their list of books that they need for second year students.
Here's our letter. Mrs. Weasley is opening and reading.
Let's see here. Standard book of spells, grade 2. Okay, let's see if I can manage this. Break with a Banshee by Gilderoy Lockhart. Galloping with Ghouls by Gilderoy Lockhart. Holidays with Hags by Gilderoy Lockhart. Travels with Trolls by Gilderoy Lockhart. Voyages with Vampires by Gilderoy Lockhart. Wanderings with Werewolves.
Wait for
by
it, wait
Gilderoy
for it.
Lockhart. And
You're
Year
with
with
the
a Yeti.
Yeti
with
by
Gilderoy
Gilderoy Lockhart. I mean, come on.
Why is his name everywhere?
I don't know.
Maybe that teacher just really likes Gilderoy Lockhart books.
Yeah, that's what Fred was saying. He said, must be a witch.
Because she might fancy him.
Oh, but then he sees his mother looking at him and he quickly looks away.
Because I think Miss Weasley is a fan too.
I think so.
Let's see here. And then Lockhart's books are very expensive. So they'll pick up lots of Ginny's things secondhand.
So I wonder, why couldn't they just go to the library and check them out? Is that a thing? Do wizards have libraries?
I can't imagine Miss Pince lets them in.
No, and probably not sets for all the students. where
Right.
All of them would check them out. Yeah.
But just for you guys, just so you know, if you do need a book, you just ask us to purchase it and then you can check it out from the library.
Yep. There you go.
Let's see here. Starting at Hogwarts. And then Percy shows up, who we haven't seen at all yet.
Because he's been
Yep.
hiding in his room.
Yep.
Let's see. He says good morning, goes to sit down for breakfast, and
And
picks
then
up
he
a
jumps up.
molting.
Oh. Oh.
But it's not an owl, it's a feather duster.
That's what
All
Harry thought anyway.
Poor
Harry
Errol.
thought
Poor Errol. He just can't help it. He's just.
he's an old owl
He's
and
rather
he's
worn
worn
out.
out. Yes.
And he's got that answer from Hermione, correct?
That's right.
So Ron is
That's
super
right.
excited. So he tries to set Errol up on the perch to untie the letter, and he just can't get him to stand up. So he just
No.
lays him down.
Yep.
And Hermione says,
Hope everyone's okay, and I hope you didn't do anything illegal.
To get Harry there.
"Of
yeah.
course not. Of course
Yeah.
Hermione might know them. Need to use a better owl, please. And she's busy with her schoolwork.
And Ron is horrified.
It's summer vacation."
Exactly. Oh gosh.
And then going to London on Wednesday.
And that just works out perfectly with the Weasley schedule. They can go too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So let's flip a page here.
But what did they do before they did that? They
Oh.
decided to practice some Quidditch.
Oh, they did. And they went out
Yes.
to, what was it called? A paddock?
A paddock
Yeah,
that,
okay.
which means a field. It's
Just
a
a little
fenced-in field.
So like a pasture
Yes.
that the Weasleys owned.
Uh-huh.
And think about this. So they're playing Quidditch, but they can't play with the regular Quidditch balls because if one got away, it would be very
Oh.
difficult to explain.
Yes.
So they play with apples. So
Yep.
can you guys think, would that make them better at Quidditch or worse at Quidditch? Because they're not using the actual balls, but they're using something smaller. So it would be, coming
don't
from an
know.
athletic point of view, if you play with something smaller, it, kind of makes you a little bit better at getting to whatever the ball is or whatever the target is, because you've usually got a bigger target to catch or throw. So
But
if you
when
can-
it's, but it might be easier just because they know where the apple's going to go.
Oh,
It's
it
not
could
going to
be.
move out of the way.
Yeah, so with Muggle sports, it might be good because it might help you. But with Wizard sports, maybe not because
Yep.
that equipment tends to have a mind of its own.
Yep. Yep.
Which is why in Muggle Quidditch, it's played by, one of the balls is played by a human.
Yep. That is correct. So when you play Muggle Quidditch, the snitch is played by a person.
Yes.
And you have to run around and try and catch that snitch.
That's
Yes,
right.
in yellow shorts. Just kind of funny.
It's so funny. It's so fun to watch, too.
Well, at least it's not gold shorts.
Yeah,
It's an awful bright yellow.
it is. It is very fluorescent. But they're off to Diagon Alley.
Yep.
Let's say it very clearly, right, ladies. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Diagon Alley. Yes.
Not what is it? What does Harry say?
He goes, Diagon Alley.
And he's doing that because he's using flu powder for the first
time, and he swallows hot ash. Like,
So
wait
how
a
do you
minute.
speak? How do you speak when using flu powder without swallowing hot ash? How does that work? I don't know.
I don't think they ever say.
I'm glad I don't have to figure it out.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the wizard.
And
Wizard methods.
would anyone remember all these things that they
Absolutely
all
not.
tell him to do? That you must speak clearly and be sure to get out at the right grate. And I'm going, how do you know when's the right what?
And they're telling him these things so rapidly. I'm surprised he can tell one thing from the other.
I know. And then keep your elbows tucked in and your eyes shut, but you've got to look for where you've got to get out. And I'm going, now hang on a minute. You've got to keep your eyes shut, but also look. Now, what?
Keep your elbows in. Just make sure to keep those elbows in.
And don't fidget, or you might
Don't
fall
fidget.
out at the wrong fireplace.
But be sure to look and make sure that you're at the right fireplace.
Oh,
It's a struggle. It's
Yes.
a struggle, you guys.
yes.
He's not getting there by flu powder. He's getting there on the struggle bus.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
makes the underground he took last year sound much more fun.
yes, even if it was with a giant.
Exactly.
Or a half giant.
Yes.
On the plus side, when the underground, if you're in a giant, you get through the underground.
You do. That is correct.
You don't get crushed in Crush Hour.
So
I have
how
been
did-
on the London Tubes at Crush Hour. That was fun.
Yes. So how does Harry feel? He feels as if he's being sucked down a giant drain
Mm-hmm.
and spinning very fast.
And this is what the illustration shows us.
Ooh.
That looks kind of terrifying.
Ooh.
Perfectly creepy for the spooky mark.
Yes.
When he finally stops, he shatters his glasses. He
Yep.
is dizzy, bruised, covered in soot, and he has no idea where he is.
Well, I can tell you it's difficult without your glasses. I lost mine a while back, and I now have contacts. Poor Harry did not have the luxury of getting contacts so quickly, so he's struggling.
Yep.
He is in a dimly lit wizard shop. Nothing is going to be on the Hogwarts school list.
Exactly. A glass case held a withered hand on a cushion,
Oh,
and that
oh.
was the beginning of the chapter.
Back to the creepy hand.
Right
Back
there.
to the creepy hand.
Ooh.
That one right there.
It was a blood-stained pack of cards and a staring glass eye. Ooh. And evil-looking masks. So he knows this is nothing needed at Hogwarts for the students.
Right. And evil-looking masks, not the cool masks that keep you safe, you know?
Nope.
As he tries to leave, the first person he runs into is the last person he wants to see covered in soot.
Give us a comment. Tell us if you know who that is. Who comes up? Who does that look like?
He steps into the shop and is soon followed by a man who could only be his father.
Yep. Because
They
he
must
looks
look
the
rather-
same. Yes.
Rather similar.
Mm-hmm.
You can include a picture of. Nope, there's the creepy stuff in the.
No, but we get more creepy stuff.
Ooh.
No, there's the creepy stuff.
There's all the creepy stuff from the place
Yes.
where Harry ended up.
Yes.
which is called Borgin and Burke's.
Yep.
That is one creepy doll head.
I'm telling you.
I know. Ooh.
Let's see. Doll's head. That's a shrunken head.
The mask?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
another mask down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
A ruby ring that looks probably cursed.
Probably. Probably.
All right, but who are those guys? I'm not seeing any comments. We'll just go ahead and tell you. It's Malfoy.
Yep.
Draco Malfoy and his father, Lucius.
You know, he's best friends with with Harry, right?
You couldn't even keep a straight face. I could tell by your eye smiles.
No.
You would say it might be Harry's nemesis other than Voldemort. Just a school bully, you know.
Yeah.
The norm.
The norm.
Let's see here.
And what is Mr. Malfoy doing at Borgin and Burke's, the place with all the creepy stuff? Do we know?
Mm-hmm.
He's selling stuff.
Yeah.
So he's got some stuff in his house that would go very well in this store, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Things that might embarrass him if the ministry came to call.
That's
Yep,
right.
yep.
That's right.
So he and Mr. Burke, correct?
Or
Borgin.
Mr. Borgin.
Mr. Borgin.
Yep.
They haggle for a little bit to try and see if they can get a good price. That's what haggling means.
But Draco keeps wanting to say, you know, hey, I thought you were going to buy me something.
Yeah, he's like, I thought you were getting me a present. I want this. I want this.
And Mr. Borgin, abandoning Mr. Malfoy's list, says, oh, the hand of glory. Insert a candle and it gives light only to the holder. Best friend of thieves and plunderers.
And also, those who
Uh-oh.
love shenanigans. Could you
Yes.
imagine Fred and George with this hand?
Oh, yes, yes.
Although they don't really need it. to
They
be fair.
don't, but
No.
it might help out, you know?
And I can't imagine Molly letting it in the house because Hand of Glory is a real thing. They
Oh.
were very popular for a while, and you have to cut the hand off of someone who's been hung.
Ooh.
Hanged? I never remember
Hanged?
hanged.
I think it's hanged.
Hanged.
I can't remember.
Yes.
Humans have a specific one and pictures of the other, and I can never
Yeah.
remember which is what.
I think it's the one that doesn't sound right is the one
Yes.
that is correct.
It's if you were hanged.
If you are
Yes.
like, because there's hanged man's
Because
rope.
you don't say he was hung up. He was hanged.
But your towel, you might have hung up your towel.
Yes, exactly.
At least you hope you did anyway.
All right, so he's wanting everything, and Mr. Malfoy is not wanting anything. He's wanting to get rid of things,
Yes.
and Harry's just terrified that they're going to see him.
Yes,
'Cause
hiding in
He's
a
hiding in
cupboard.
the cupboard. Yeah.
Right, in the cupboard or in a cabinet.
It is a. Gotta go back again.
I don't.
Large black cabinet.
Yeah.
And just a little tidbit for you guys out there. I think it might be a vanishing cabinet. But we don't have to talk about that right now.
Yes, we don't know.
All right.
Let's see here.
Oh, the
And then
Malfoys
they-
leave.
Yep.
They get
And
out of
we-
there.
And we do find out that if the stories are true, he hasn't told half of what's hidden at Malfoy Manor.
Which means there's a lot more creepy stuff hidden at that
Right.
house.
And then Harry runs out the door. Now in the movie, he gets caught running out the door.
Well, in the book, he runs out the door and he keeps running, and then he gets caught. And then he gets caught by someone else who might recognize him. And it's Hagrid.
Yay!
Hagrid saves him from the lady trying to sell
Yes.
fingers.
Yes.
Yep, sounds right.
Ooh.
So what do we think of Nocturne Alley in all its dingy alleyways, shrunken heads?
What do you guys think about that place, huh?
Creepy.
There's a skeleton. Do you guys see the skeleton hanging out there?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
Hagrid
and
filling
Hagrid.
up the whole alley.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would like it just to see, but I don't think that I would like to work or purchase things from there. I don't think that would be very high on my priority list.
No.
Mm-mm.
To be fair, that's probably where the young wizards go raving.
Yeah.
Once they're 18, that's probably where they go have fun.
I mean, I feel like I love a good secondhand shop. I always love to find out new ways for old things to.
But they'd be
Keep
17. Don't they get come of age at 17?
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh, yeah.
come of age a year earlier.
And then they get to go shopping without their moms, and they get to go down there
Exactly.
and realize they didn't really want to go shopping there after all.
No.
Let's see here. So Hagrid saves him. Then we see the Snow White Gringotts.
And he picks him up by the scruff of his neck. Can you just imagine? Just the big hand
Pick him up, and
grabbing
then
you?
he's trying to knock the ash off him, and
Mhm.
and almost knocks him over again.
Knocks the lady's tray out of her hand.
Yeah.
I bet she was mad.
Ooh, yeah.
But they get out of there, and he takes him back to Diagon Alley.
Let's see here. He's looking for flesh-eating slug repellent.
Oh yeah, that's
whatever
what
that is.
Hagrid was
That's
doing.
why
there.
Hagrid was there.
It was
Yeah,
like whatever that
yeah.
Yeah, because what are you doing there, Hagrid? Huh? If I'm not
Uh-huh.
supposed to be here, why are you allowed to be here?
Well, technically one because he's full-grown.
Yes.
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 Yes,
He is a full-grown wizard.
That he
Full-grown
is.
anyway.
that's right.
Let's see here. Then we find Hermione,
Mm-hmm.
the Weasleys,
Yep.
who clean him off and fix his glasses.
Just dust him off a little bit.
Yes. And
Yeah.
the old reparo.
So who fixed the glasses in the book?
Mr. Weasley.
Mr. Weasley.
Mr.
Yes.
Weasley did it. So in the movie, Hermione does it.
And then we're back to we're not supposed to be using magic.
Yeah, that's
I know. I was like, no, she wouldn't be able to do that.
That's
Or
right.
not allowed to, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then he says where he was, and he tells Ron and Hermione, guess who I saw in Borgin and Burks?
Mm.
Malfoy and his father. Did
Yep.
Lucius buy anything?
Mr. Weasley wants to know.
Yes.
He's got his eyes on that one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He'd love to catch Lucius, and Mrs. Weasley said, you better be careful. That family's trouble.
And I
Right.
mean, can you blame him?
Nope.
Oh, by the way, we're back at Diagon Alley. The beautiful Diagon Alley. There you go. Now you guys can see it.
Yep.
And Mr. Weasley said he's more than a match for Lucius Malfoy.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, he kind of makes you not believe it because he's immediately distracted by Hermione's parents.
Yes, he is. Who are muggles?
He loves talking to muggles.
He does. He wants to know how plugs work.
Yes.
And rubber duckies and,
And rubber
everything
duckies.
else.
What is the function of a rubber duck?
Nobody knows. To be
Nobody
fair.
knows.
And they were exchanging muggle money
They were
at the bank. Yes.
A
Oh,
10-pound
bless
note.
them.
Woohoo. Not even that much money, to be fair.
But Harry and the Weasleys, they've got to go to their vaults. So they just all go together, because why not?
Yep.
Well, the reason why not is because Harry kind of feels terrible, because they go to the Weasleys' vault, and Mrs. Weasley takes everything out because there's not much there.
Yep.
And then they go to Harry's, and Harry's trying to block it so that they don't see that he has so much because he feels so bad. And he knows that if he were to offer it to them, that it
They
would just
wouldn't
hurt their
take it.
feelings.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then everybody separates to go buy their things. They're supposed to meet at Hirschenblatt's in an hour. Not one step down Nocturne Alley.
Not one step.
She says to the twins.
Yeah,
Right.
to the twins. Harry's had enough Nocturne Alley for one day. And let's see. Harry, Ron, and Hermione don't seem to do much buying, I notice.
Nope.
They have ice cream and
Yep.
parchment, and that's all they seem to buy.
That's it. That's all they need. As long as you've got your ice
Yeah.
cream, right?
That's right.
They find Fred and George stocking up on fireworks.
Because you've got to have your fireworks.
And
Absolutely.
Percy, deeply immersed in a small and boring book called Prefects Who Gain Power, a study of Hogwarts prefects and their later careers. Sounds
Well-
fascinating.
But Percy is rather ambitious. He's got places to be, you know.
Oh,
He's going to
yeah.
be there one day. He wants to be Minister of Magic.
Mhm. That's what Ron says, anyway.
They left Percy to his book, probably safest.
Probably.
And as they head towards Hirschenblatt's, they are no means the only ones. They see to their surprise a large crowd trying to get in.
And why is
What?
that?
Oh my gosh. And
Oh,
there's a
the rest.
huge sign.
Here's more Dragon Alley.
Diagon Alley.
There's a huge sign that says Gilderoy Lockhart will be signing copies of his autobiography, Magical me.
Do we not include a picture?
We don't get to see.
Oh, that's so fun.
Can you find Flourish and Blots?
Oh, it should be there somewhere.
I feel like it was on the other page.
Probably. That looks like Nocturne Alley. It's green, I think.
Well,
I think it's a green. There's Split Itch. Is it not in here?
Yeah, maybe we don't get to see it this time. It was in the last book.
yeah.
Do I need to look in the fancy copy?
Oh, what do you mean the fancy copy?
copy.
So you guys, they have come out with a new book.
today.
Let's see here. A pop-up version of Harry Potter. We should have a full Diagon Alley in here.
Oh man. Do you want me to hold it?
Yeah, let's see if we can find it first. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Got it.
Got it. Check that out.
Ah.
Super cool.
Wow. Yep.
It just pops right out and it just folds back in there. Oh, more things are falling out.
That's fine.
More things are falling out of the book. So we're gonna put it back together. We just really wanted to show you this awesome new book. You stole it. Right.
So we are
Open it
now
back up.
at Gilderoy Lockhart signing his autobiography, Magical Me.
Oh boy.
And
I'm just wondering. He's trying to sell an autobiography to wizards. He's trying to sell an autobiography of himself, self-titled Magical Me, not self-titled, but titled Magical Me. All these wizards are magical. How
Yep.
is it any different from anybody else?
I don't know.
he's just special.
He
He
feels
is
he's
special.
more magical.
Is he now? We'll just have to see about that.
And I think if I remember correctly, by Lucius Malfoy's method, he's not that magical because I think he's a half-blood.
So Lucius would not agree.
No.
The Malfoys would not agree. But they walk in, and 2 seconds maybe after Harry walks through the door, he's immediately recognized by Mr. Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yes.
He's super excited to see Harry. He makes a big deal about it, and
It
then he
can't be Harry Potter.
Mhm.
Wow. Yes.
And what is it he says?
He
This
says-
right here.
Nice big smile, Harry, said Lockhart through his own gleaming teeth. Together you and I are worth the front page.
Harry's gonna be
Okay.
on the front page
And
of the
Harry
newspaper.
is like,
Don't look at me!
no.
But he says he makes this huge announcement to everyone. Would you
Yep.
like to?
Ladies and gentlemen, he said loudly, waving for quiet. What an extraordinary moment this is. The perfect moment for me to make a little announcement I've been sitting on for some time. When young Harry here stepped into Flourish and Blots today, he only wanted to buy my autobiography, which I shall be happy to present him now for free of charge. The crowd applauded again. He had no idea, Lockhart continued, giving Harry a little shake that made his glasses slip to the end of his nose, that he'd shortly be getting much, much more than my book, Magical Me. He and his schoolmates will, in fact, be getting the real Magical Me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure and pride in announcing that this September I will be taking up the post of defense against the dark arts teacher at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The crowd cheered and clapped.
So I guess we know who's
Uh-oh.
replacing Professor Quirrell.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Alrighty then.
My goodness.
At least
Mm.
Harry was nice. He gets presented with the entire works of Gilderoy and promptly gives them to Ginny.
Yeah.
Which was so nice because she's the equivalent of a freshman. Like she's brand new to the school and she's
Right.
gonna have brand new books like everybody else. That'll make her feel good.
Yep.
At least of Lockhart's.
Yeah, at least the block cards.
And then Draco walks in.
Da 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 da.
Bet you love that, Potter.
And in comes, of course, his father too,
Because they have to come together.
and Mr. Weasley, and Mr. Malfoy.
And they just had the discussion that Mr. Weasley is definitely a match for Mr. Malfoy.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to prove it.
Uh-oh.
They get themselves into a scuffle because Mr. Malfoy just cannot be nice.
Nope.
What is it he does?
Well, first he reaches into Jenny's cauldron and extracts from among the glossy Lockhart books a very battered copy of A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration.
And I'll be completely honest, every book I ever bought for college, maybe not the same in elementary and high school, but for college, I wanted those secondhand books.
The battered books. Exactly.
Because those have notes from previous students that can
Yes.
help you out.
Yes.
But he says, "Dear me, what is the use of being a disgrace to the name of wizard if they don't even pay you well for it?" And Mr. Weasley answers, "We have a very different idea what disgraces the name of wizard."
And I'll be honest, I do too. I have a very different
Oh,
idea from
yeah.
Mr. Malfoy.
And they fight. Hagrid breaks them up. And then...
that's when, especially when Mr. Malfoy sees that Mr. Weasley's talking with Hermione's parents, who are
Yeah.
muggles.
And Mr. Malfoy does not agree with
The
that.
company you keep.
I think they're rather
Oh,
lovely.
No. So,
And after the fight, Mr. Malfoy hands Ginny back the book.
Yes, he does.
"Take your book, it's the best your father can give you," and then puts his nose in the air and flounces out.
As one does.
And that's because Hagrid actually broke them apart.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to mess
Literally
No.
lifted them up and pulled them apart again.
with that. Nobody's messing with Hagrid.
Nope.
And in the movie, he's like this, partly because he's got the long blonde wig and he's trying to make sure it's not in his eyes.
I feel
Which is
that.
the danger of long blonde straight hair.
I feel that struggle.
Let's see.
And then end chapter? We're very close to.
Yes, that's it.
Mrs. Weasley is unhappy about them fighting.
Of course.
And then we go back by Floo Powder, and Harry decides one more time it is not his favorite way to travel.
No, he would much
Exactly.
rather be on a broomstick.
That's right.
Yep. And on to Whomping Willow,
Yeah.
Whomping Willow.
which is also on my shirt.
I need that on a shirt, was what I was about to say. And oh, look!
Ta-da!
It's like the Whomping
There's the
Willow.
Whomping Willow.
Month of the Burrow had been the happiest of his life. It was not difficult to feel jealous of Ron when he thought of what kind of welcome he would expect next year. Mrs. Weasley conjured up a splendid dinner of all Harry's favorite things, including treacle pudding. I don't know why he likes that.
I don't know why it says all of Harry's favorite things, because I would assume that anything
Everything is pretty
that
much.
Mrs. Weasley makes would be his favorite thing.
Yeah.
And,
But he does
Treacle
love
pudding,
treacle tart.
yeah.
Treacle pudding?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what this is. Can somebody help me?
It's essentially a pecan pie without the pecans.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
breadcrumbs
It's sort of a
and
Caramelly type thing.
breadcrumbs and Caro syrup, basically, is what we call it.
I don't know. I've
They
never
call it
had it.
treacle syrup, but basically Caro syrup.
All right.
It's not my preferred tart,
But
but
now we have to rush because we have our 2 chapters to get through.
Oh, yeah, we do. What happened?
So we have to get in that car because this is where we get introduced to the car that Mr. Weasley
Oh, for the second time.
done a little. Yes.
The same car that
The
Fred
same
and
car.
George and Ron came and rescued Harry in.
That's right.
8 people, 6 trunks, 2 owls, and a rat fit
There we
in
go.
one very small Ford Anglia.
There we go.
How does that happen? So a Ford Anglia, what is that like? I don't really know.
It's basically a 2x2.
Oh.
Sort of like a mini.
It's a 2x2, and
Would
that's all
you
that fits in
say
there.
maybe a Chevy Spark would be about the same size?
Might be a
Maybe.
little bigger.
Oh, no.
Not by much.
Well, that's
but
my card. I know I can't hardly fit anybody else in there.
It's a 2x2.
They're not all fitting in my car. So
So they go to King's Cross.
They do. They
no,
do.
they come back 3 times.
Oh,
well,
they do.
yes.
They
Oh,
forget. George forgets his fireworks. Fred
Yes.
forgets his broomstick. And Ginny
Ginny
forgets her
the
diary.
gun. Yes.
Her diary.
Yes.
You said. Well, you gotta
Yes.
have that diary.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about flying the car. But Mrs. Weasley doesn't allow it.
Weasley's
No,
like,
she does not.
Nope.
She's not okay with it.
They arrive at King's Cross at 11:15, and the train leaves exactly at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got to go through that barrier
Uh-oh.
real fast.
Oh, spoilers.
Let's see here.
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
It is 4:30 and the library will be closed.
I don't know if you can hear that,
at 5 o'clock.
but it is 4:30.
Shut down at 4:45. Thank you.
Ooh, feedback.
A little bit of feedback.
Let's see. Everyone shoved through except for Harry and Ron.
Why can't they get through?
They can't get through onto platform 9 3/4.
Well, what are they gonna do?
The
And
barrier
they're like-
won't let them through.
And they look at and they say, no, look, 5 seconds to go. And it's 11. The train's leaving. They're stuck.
They are stuck. So what do? They could go and wait by the car for Mr. and Mrs. Weasley. They could go and wait by the car.
Yes.
The car?
And then Ron goes,
We could fly the car! So they decided to do that. They did. So that's the car flying
And
over
this
King's
is
Cross.
where the internet has a great deal of problem.
Yeah.
Of all the things to do, this is probably the dumbest.
They're 12-year-old boys and they don't
think,
know what else to do and they're
hey,
super
we'll
excited.
fly the car. We'll just follow the train.
Why not?
There you go.
So they do it.
Easy.
The train that they don't know where it's going.
But they find it and they do. They follow it.
Except something goes wrong with the car and it doesn't stay invisible for more than about a minute.
So they just fly above the clouds, right?
Yes. Having to nip
Part
down
of it.
every hour.
Yep.
So they might get seen a couple of times, maybe.
Mm.
Let's see here. Due north.
So I don't know if you guys can
So-
see that.
They thought it was
Hard
a-
to see.
In the
kinda
beginning,
hard.
it was a brilliant journey.
It's the car through the clouds.
Because the glove box was full of toffees and the prospect of seeing Fred and George's jealous faces.
Mm-hmm.
Several hours later, though, the fun had worn off.
Mm-hmm.
They had
So
nothing to
here they
drink. They were hot. And it was and then it started getting cold because they were flying above the clouds.
Right.
And suddenly the car gives a nasty wobble.
Oh no.
Oh no. Glancing out of his window, Harry saw the smooth, black, glassy surface of the water a mile below. That's the big lake at Hogwarts.
Yes.
And Ron's knuckles were white on the steering wheel, and the car wobbled again. Oh no! And there was a loud clunk, a splutter, and the engine died completely.
What did they do?
Uh-oh! No. They were heading straight for the solid castle wall. So Ron was yelling, no! And he was swinging the steering wheel around, and they missed the wall by inches as the car
Just that much?
turned. And then out over the black lawns, coming down all the time. And then, stop! Stop! He yelled, whacking the dashboard and the windshield.
With his what?
He was whacking the dashboard and the windshield.
Oh, okay. I thought he might have been doing it with a specific object.
With his wand.
With these, yeah.
Wand.
Okay. And then Harry bellows, watch out for that tree! Crunch.
And what tree is it that we might have hit? Do we have a picture?
No, you,
we don't
you
have a
already
picture.
went.
Wrong way.
It's the
Oh,
Lumpy
it's at the
willow.
front.
it's
at
the
the
very
front.
front. Yep.
They hit the only tree on the grounds that will hit back. Oh.
We're missing it. We'll find it. Hold on.
There
There
it
it
is.
is. They ran into this guy.
Yep.
they ran into that guy. So
Yep.
I don't think it was going too well at that
Nope.
point.
Nope.
Let's see here.
So as they're in the car, in the tree, suddenly something goes whack.
What was
And
that?
they're like, what is that? And then again, whack. And it's like, no! What's going on?
Trees are stationary. Why is this one moving?
Ugh.
Because it's the Whomping Willow, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
The Whomping Willow's whomp.
And it does.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. They think they're nearly done for, and then the car restarts, reverses away, and then throws them out.
Yep.
I would
The
too.
doors fling open, boom,
I think I would throw them out too
and
at that
tosses
point.
them out. And
It's-
poor Hedwig,
Oh,
in
poor
her
It's done.
cage, the cage bursts open, and Hedwig takes off for the owlery.
I don't
She's
blame
done.
her. She's done. Yeah.
She's done.
Yep, she's done.
I would be too.
Let's see here. It's not the triumphant arrival they pictured. The feast had already started. The sorting had already started.
Yep.
As they're looking in the windows, they see McGonagall doing the sorting. Dumbledore and Hagrid. Dumbledore at the head table. Gilderoy Lockhart slightly further along. But there's an empty chair. Where is Snape?
Mm. Can anybody guess?
Oh, well, they say a few things about where he is. What do they say?
Maybe he's ill.
Maybe
Or
he's
sacked.
Yeah.
I can't do Alan Rickman's voice. It's not possible.
I can't do it. Katie, you got this?
Or maybe, said a very cold voice right behind them. He's waiting to hear why you two didn't arrive on the school train.
Oh, from right
Mm.
behind them.
They're so in trouble.
Oh,
So why
now
would
what?
Snape wait for them?
I don't
There are
know.
lots of other teachers.
Maybe he just
Mhm.
wants to get them in trouble.
I don't know. Or maybe he saw that they weren't there.
Maybe he's the only one that noticed.
I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe Dumbledore told him.
Could be
don't know.
possible.
Could be.
He is
know.
smiling, though, which is even more worrisome.
Oh no, that's never good when Snape is smiling.
Leads them down to his office. Large glass jars floating in all manner of revolting things you don't want to know the names of.
No, no, he's the potions master after
Yeah.
all. Maybe he goes to Nocturne Alley to buy fingers off that lady. You know?
And that was when he says to them, "What have you done with the car?"
What car? What are you talking about?
And
We don't know
it's
anything
like-
about a car.
It wasn't the first time Snape had given Harry the impression of being able to read minds.
Read minds, you say?
But then Snape unrolled an issue of the Evening Prophet. You were seen!
Ah! The invisibility
Flying
button didn't
Ford
work.
Anglia mystifies muggles. Oh,
3,
no.
4. It says 6 or 7 muggles in all.
Ooh,
So
Mm.
every time they nipped down to check where the train was.
pretty much every
Oh.
time, yep.
Yep.
And I noticed in my search of the park, considerable damage done to the very valuable Whomping Willow.
Mhm.
And then Snape goes to get the person who can expel them.
McGonagall. Professor McGonagall.
Who might just do it.
She's
And
pretty stern.
then Dumbledore comes in too.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
that-
gone.
That's it. They think that's it. We
They're
don't
done
have to
for.
unpack. We don't have to do anything.
Nope.
Yep.
Gonna go straight back home.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, let's see. McGonagall, being not 12,
Yes.
immediately tells him to explain. And Ron immediately launches into the story and says, "We had no choice, Professor. We couldn't get on the train. Why didn't you send a letter by owl?"
Well, they did have Hedwig.
Yes, she
And
was
they
right
had
there.
A trunk
And
full
they're
of
like-
fresh parchment,
Yep.
quills, and ink.
Yep.
Yes.
But it would have been so funny for them to just pull all that out at King's Cross
Yeah.
in a busy train station
Mm-hmm.
in front of all those muggles and just write a
Yep.
quick note, put it on an owl's leg, and yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
would have been fine, right?
Yeah.
It would have been just as good as
Yeah.
flying a car.
Yep.
But it's more fun to fly the car.
If you're gonna get in trouble for doing wizard things anyway.
Yep.
Exactly.
Now they don't say the car belongs to Mr. Weasley. They make it
No.
sound like they just happened to stumble on a flying
That's
car.
right.
Yep,
That's
yep.
Parked
right.
outside.
Because muggles have those, right?
Yep. Of
I
course.
mean, my car flies.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So ultimately, what happens?
They're surprisingly not expelled.
Yep.
Dumbledore takes Snape with him back to the feast,
Yep.
although he tries to kill them with his eyes.
Of course he does, because that is Snape. That's what he does.
And then, let's see here. Ron wants to see Ginny sorted, but the sorting ceremony is long since over.
No. Yep.
So what happens when you're late?
Mm-hmm.
And then, speaking of Gryffindor, Professor McGonagall said sharply, but Harry cut in. Professor, when we took the car, term hadn't started.
Yep, that's right. That's
Don't
right.
take any points.
No more
please.
points. You can't do
No.
it. We weren't at school.
Yeah.
It doesn't count.
No.
So she's nice enough not to take points, but they both get detention.
Yes, they do.
And their parents are being written to.
Ugh.
And they have to eat in Snape's creepy office.
Ew. Can you eat with all that floating stuff around you?
That's probably the worst fate, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. You gotta sit there and eat with all the floating things in all the jars
Yep.
in the creepy cold office.
Yep.
Let's see. And then when they finish eating, they walk upstairs and get to the fat lady. And they don't have the password.
Nope, because they were late.
Yep. And then they hear hurrying feet and Hermione dashes to them. There you are. Where have you been? The most ridiculous rumor. Someone says you've been expelled for crashing a flying car.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
you're
rumors.
expelled.
Just rumors.
Just,
Yeah.
yep.
You're
Yep.
not telling me you did fly here.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Which the common room is all okay with, except for Percy. Who is about
Yeah.
to kill them as well.
Everyone's cheering.
And poor ambitious Percy, who wants to, make his way in the world. You can't make your way in the world when your family's embarrassing you by doing things like flying cars when they're not supposed to.
Brilliant! Yelled Lee Jordan. Inspired! What an entrance! Fly a car right into the Whomping Willow. People will be talking about that one for years.
Well, at least they'll go down in the history books for something.
Exactly.
And then, next chapter, I think?
Well, they go up
Yes.
to their old dormitory, which now says second years.
Yep.
Yep.
Which, I wonder if that's something boarding schools just do. Do you keep the
Maybe.
same room? In college you don't, unless you stupidly
No.
manage to ask for the same room.
I
Well,
don't know. I don't know.
maybe that's how it works at Hogwarts.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe they just consider it safer not to change it, deep clean air the boys' rooms till they're done being used.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
And now
let's see.
chapter 6.
Yep, Harry went to bed grinning. The next day he hardly grinned once.
No.
And it's called Gilderoy Lockhart. Poor Errol. That's Errol, by the way. He looks like he just delivered a letter. He's got one in his
but
mouth there.
it's a red one?
What does that
Oh,
mean?
no.
So let's flip that page. And there's nothing on this one.
Sigh. Let's see
And
here.
Ron gasps, "It's all right. He's still alive," said Hermione. "It's not that. It's that." He was pointing at the red envelope. It looked quite ordinary to Harry. But
Just red.
Ron and Neville were both looking at it as though expected it to explode. Oh, no.
If Neville's scared of it, it can't be that bad. Neville's scared of everything, right? Right?
And then Ron says, "She sent me a howler."
A howler?
And Neville says, "It'll be worse if you don't. My gran sent me one once. I ignored it and it was horrible." "Oh no.
Mhm.
What's a howler?" says Harry. It had begun to smoke at the corners. Oh no. Neville stuffed his fingers in his ears. Harry,
does.
a split second later, Harry knew why. He thought for a moment it had exploded. A roar of sound filled the huge hall, shaking dust from the ceiling.
Are you ready?
"Stealing the car! I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd expelled you! You wait till I get hold of you! I don't suppose you stopped to think what your father and I went through when we saw it was gone. Oh my gosh, Mrs. Weasley's yells 100 times louder than usual made the plates and the spoons rattle on the table and echo deafeningly off the stone walls. People throughout the hall were swiveling round to see who received the howler, and Ron sank so low in his chair that only his crimson forehead could be seen. A letter from Dumbledore last night. I thought your father would die of shame. We didn't bring you up to behave like this. You and Harry could both have died. Harry had been wondering when his name was going to crop up. He tried very hard to look as though he couldn't hear the voice that was making his eardrums throb. Absolutely disgusted. Your father's facing an inquiry at work. It's entirely your fault, and if you put another toe out of line, we'll bring you straight back home. A ringing silence fell. The red envelope, which had dropped from Ron's hand, burst into flames and curled into ashes.
So, I mean, if I had gotten that letter, my initial reaction would be, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, yes.
No, it's slightly better in the movie because, you know, she does the Mrs. Weasley and immediately turns the letter and goes, Ginny, thank you. Well done for getting into...
Time is now 4:50.
Oh.
Please bring all of your selections to the
Yeah.
checkout
Ginny,
line. You can
the letter
check
turns
out.
to Ginny and says, you know, congratulations getting into Gryffindor. You know, real happy. And Ginny, I'm not here.
Jenny does not want to be seen anywhere near that howler.
No.
I'm not here. Wasn't me.
And in the movie, it turns to Harry and says, we don't blame you, dear.
Yeah, everyone else is just like, it wasn't me.
And poor Ron is just getting the brunt of it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's okay. That's over. It's over, right? Nobody's going to make fun of you all day because they
Alright.
saw that at breakfast.
Yep.
Yep. And then McGonagall hands out timetables.
Mm.
And off to herbology.
Yep.
to herbology.
Yep.
Check that out.
They are going to be repotting mandrakes.
Mandrakes.
Yes.
That look like,
Mhm.
I'm going to get the right angle here in a second.
Like
There we go.
funny potatoes
They
with
look
little
like
faces.
human potatoes,
Those
maybe.
babies, yeah.
They look like babies to me.
Mandrake is a real plant.
Like a
Or mandragora.
yes,
it's
exactly.
a real plant. Now when they have to actually wait for her to come, Professor Sprout to come in because she's not there yet.
Right.
And when she walks up, she has her arms full of bandages, and Gilderoy Lockhart helping.
Mm.
Helping.
But she's not
Yes.
looking very happy, is she?
Do you
No.
guys
No.
Do you guys know what cats do when they help? I feel like Gilderoy is probably about the same as a cat helping.
No. He's probably worse.
The teachers don't seem to like Gilderoy at all.
Oh, I wonder
They seem
why.
to find him annoying, and we've only met like one
Yes.
teacher having to deal with him.
Right?
Even Professor Sprout, who's usually cheery, looks annoyed.
So what does Gilderoy say he's there for?
To show Professor Sprout the right way to doctor a Whomping
The
Willow.
right way. He's gonna teach the teacher
Ah.
the right way. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, moving on.
Yes,
What's
yes.
next?
Let's see here. He grabs Harry and tells him all about not doing flying cars and
yes.
how to have fame and
Oh. And Harry's
and-
just like, that's not why we did it. It was because we couldn't get on the platform.
Right.
But, Gilderoy is just thinking that Harry's just looking for how to be famous.
Because that's what Gilderoy's doing, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that true?
It sort of sounds a little bit like that.
Sounds like it. It does. It does.
But yes, mandrakes are powerful, restorative, essential for most antidotes. But the cry of the mandrake is fatal to anyone who hears it.
That's right. That's
Yep.
why we gotta wear our earmuffs.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't think this one includes the. No, apparently the ancient method to get a mandrake was to tie a dog's leash right there, and then call the dog and hope it didn't kill
Kill the dog.
Hope it didn't do anything to you or the dog.
Well,
But yeah,
that's
they
one
used
way
to
to do
train
it.
dogs
Yep.
to do that, weirdly.
Okay.
And of course,
Uh.
poor Ron's having problem with his wand that got smashed in the crash.
Good thing you don't need a wand for mandrakes.
But you need it for everything else.
That you do. That you do.
We meet a curly-haired Hufflepuff named Justin Fitch-Fletchley, who was down for Eton,
Yeah.
which means he was a Muggle-born. So, how do the Muggle-borns? Where do they say they're going? You can't
America.
stop school.
They probably say they're going to a boarding school,
Probably.
a foreign boarding school.
Probably.
Because Hermione would have to say something too, because I'm sure her parents just let her quit, right?
Yeah, probably.
Just magically. Best in her year, she
But
just
her-
magically quit. It's fine.
But her parents know that she's going to visit school.
Yes,
So-
but
Right, right.
you know, when the random person comes
Oh,
up, oh, where's your child going to college? Where's your child's
yes.
going to secondary school?
Yes.
Yes.
France.
Yeah, exactly.
Scotland.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, down for Eton, which means he was fairly upper class.
Fairly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
fancy.
Oh yes, this was the double-barreled name.
Oh, yes.
Because the Churchills actually are double-barreled names.
Hmm.
Their last name is not actually Churchill. It's something and
Mhm.
Churchill.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see here. They get bitten by mandrakes.
Who got bitten?
Everybody, I feel like.
Everybody. Poor people. Well, they're just babies. They're just gums, right?
And then they go to Transfiguration, which had
Mhm.
always been difficult, but apparently this year Harry remembered nothing of what he learned last year.
Exactly.
Well, it was just his first year, and you got that summer slide,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to forget a little bit.
Yep.
Which is why you come to the library to help keep you
Mhm.
from sliding during the summer.
Yep, that's
Yep.
right.
But Harry didn't get that luxury.
Nope.
No.
No.
But Ron has a worse time, though, because his wand is cracking and sparking. And
Yep.
every time he tries to do Transfiguration, it engulfs him in a thick gray smoke smelling of rotten eggs.
Lovely.
Oh, dear.
Definitely what we want every day to deal with in
Yep.
every class.
Definitely broken.
Oh, and we got to run.
So we've got to hurry it up. We've got to hurry it
Yes.
up. So who's class next?
Defense against the Dark Arts.
Oh,
dear.
no,
Lovely.
with Gilderoy Lockhart.
Mhm.
Yes.
We run into Colin Creevy, who wants a signed photo.
Yeah.
Of course.
And,
And Gilderoy's
Lockhart-
okay with that.
yeah, Gilderoy shows back up again.
As always,
Double photo.
with Harry.
Yes. And Harry's so traumatized by the idea of a double photo, he goes to the back of the classroom and makes a little Binny wall.
Yep.
Let's see here. Gilderoy Lockhart's. Let's see here. He
Can we
has
skip
the.
up there?
Yep. Well, his reasons for having the job are Order of Merlin 3rd class,
Right.
honorary member of the Dark Force Defense League,
Right.
and 5-time winner of Which Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award.
Because that's what you need to teach defense
Yes.
against the
Of
dark
course,
arts.
yes.
But as all good teachers, he starts off with 30-minute quiz.
Of course. You gotta know where you're at, right?
Yes.
You gotta know what
And
your
there
students
are
know.
54 questions.
And the first 3 are
What
Oh.
is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color?
I know.
Without looking.
It's I know without looking.
What is Gilderoy Lockhart's secret ambition?
I don't know.
And what, in your opinion, is Gilderoy Lockhart's greatest achievement to date?
I think that's any answer
What?
you want to give.
I'm like going, so they're all about him?
Yep.
So that's when
Apparently.
you start thinking,
That's not how most
that's-
teachers operate.
No.
I've had that
No.
teacher, though.
Oh no! Well, Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color is lilac,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes,
Not just
yes.
lilac.
Yep.
Yes.
And which is
Alrighty.
apparently in Year of the Yeti, because Yetis care about lilac.
Of course they do. Of course they
I've
care.
never seen a lilac, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Let's see here.
But what does he use now? What does he put on there that he says that they need to take care of?
Well,
It's the
every,
freshly caught Cornish
Pixies.
pixies.
Guys, it's these guys.
Oh my gosh.
He was gonna teach them about them, but
Yeah.
then he let them out, and then they got all over the
And-
classroom,
Yep.
and he
And-
just decided to leave.
He
Yeah.
just left.
So they know how to do that, right? He definitely
Mm-hmm.
didn't
Yes.
teach them how to deal with that. But if they
No.
read their books properly, they should know.
something like that. Now we
That's
have
right.
Hermione, who seems to have a slight crush on Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, all the lessons are outlined in hearts, and she's listening to with bated breath. Poor Hermione.
Mm.
Poor Hermione. But
I
we all
know.
have our first crush, you
She's
know?
12.
Yep.
It's okay. Let's see. The spell.
Okay.
All right.
So
let's see
next
here.
week we are doing chapters 7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
Do we want to run through some questions really quickly?
The last question in this chapter was, is the spell he uses even real?
What was it? What was it? What was
It
that
was
spell?
that.
Pesky
Pesky
pixie
pixie.
pestronomy. Which doesn't sound like Latin.
No, it does not sound like
No.
Latin. I think he made that up.
I think he made that up. Yep. Yep.
And then the last question, which has to do with chapter 7, is what is a mudblood?
What is a mudblood?
Ah, yeah.
Because chapter 7 is mudblood and murmurs.
So you guys tell us in the
All
comments. Let us know, what is a mudblood?
Okay. All right. Well, thanks all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Thank
I know it was
you.
kind of sped up, but I had tons of fun. I hope you guys did too.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.